time. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. One more time. Usually by the time it's the third time the talkers have stopped. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I am honored to be here with you today and to be here. I had the privilege and pleasure of working with Ms. Swites way back when I first got started. It started in education at Delmay. And now I have the privilege of having Robin as a sister and a friend. So it's an honor to be here. And I know you're tired and we've had a long day. Of course, we have the district's leadership team at our meeting at Timrod today. You know how all the housekeeping takes place before the visitors come. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We know that, of course, text-dependent analysis is anything that students do once they read and start responding to text. So we're going to jump right in here, and we're going to have some fun with this. And hopefully those of you who have seen it will see the upgrade. Those of you who haven't seen it, how many of you teach ELA, reading, writing, social studies? Okay, awesome. And even if you don't, of course, we're in hopes that there's some takeaways you can get where math and science are concerned as well. So we're going to jump right in here. All right.
One of the things when we used to present at the middle school conference, we did have science, math, ELA, and social studies, and could not believe how many of them said, I can do it this way. And so those of you sitting in a math classroom, a science classroom, be thinking how this setup, because it's really inquiry, how this setup could work with something that you are teaching. The birth of this came from a dinner conversation with a friend of mine who is a sled agent, and I love listening to Mike tell his stories because he's always got these outlandish, crazy things and they happen right in your backyard. And one night as he's talking about some of the crimes he's been investigating, I started to think, and I stopped him in conversation. I said, you know what? What you are doing is exactly what we are asking students to do when they come to something they've never seen before as a cold text. And so the first thing Mike does when he goes to a crime scene is he has to walk up on the crime scene and he begins to identify all the pieces of evidence, and he also categorizes them as he identifies them. So in this workshop, we would have you take a piece of paper out, and we would have the students or yourselves to go through and just jot down all the evidence that you see on this drop cloth. But as you jot it down, see if you can figure out how you would group items. As a sidebar, for all of the teachers in this is not about being right. It's about proving why you thought the way you thought. So we have to get away from having to solve the answers. Mike's main job is to find 3 questions. Who's the victim? What was the crime? What was the suspect? And what he's trying to do is get enough evidence to get a warrant to bring people in for further questioning. He's actually not there to solve the crime right up front. And this is a lot of what we do with TDA. So if you'll take a moment, and you can just talk or write, but about the evidence that you see, what would be things that are important to notice, and how would you group them? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes.
And we're going to listen to your conversation, so yeah, how are you talking? And you can get us
And a purse and a wallet, so he's got me an album and stuff. The ski mask is still there, so I'm assuming that the dead body is going to stay.
What's in the trash can lake? Most people bring one.
On video.
Optifruit. They got content.
No.
All right, we have a 3, 2, and a 1. The first question I'm going to ask you, was there that came up with a way to group the evidence, a way to categorize your evidence. Now, over here, and remember there are no wrong answers, but Dr. Spencer said,
What's that?
how are you categorizing your evidence, Dr. Spencer?
I had two categories, bling and non-bling.
All right, do we have any other
Over here,
options?
we had some observations. There was a question asked.
How'd you group
what
it?
was in the trash can.
She wanted to know what was grouped in the trash can.
All right, listen, this is great. Because a kid will ask, and they asked in your class, Ms. Hughes, a kid will ask, can I get up and look in the trash can? If it's on the mat, it's evidence. So those of you that got up to look into it, this is a great time to say, you know when you're reading a text and they have that caption under the picture, or they have the graph or the chart, it is just as important as what you see in the entire text. So we put the trash can there to draw that inference for them so they can see. But absolutely what's in there is important. Wouldn't a good detective look at the trash first? That's right. Is there any other way that you would categorize the evidence?
Male and female.
Yes! And we have lots of our 5th grade students, that's exactly what they did, was they categorized it into male and female. So one of my questions would be, how do you think that would help you figure out victim, suspect, and crime? And anybody can answer that. How would categorizing your evidence help you to figure out those questions?
Was your victim a female or male, and then you knew
Identify.
whether what belonged to her or what belonged to her.
That's exactly right. So when students are annotating text, is it important to start organizing your annotations? Okay? 2 questions that we often ask students are, yes, you have to identify the evidence. The second question is, why does it matter? Is every piece of evidence on here important to the crime?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, that's right. My crime scene people, we have a few people that want to be detectives. I am one. I would love to go out and do that. I think by nature, teachers are kind of detectives anyway. But how much of it, the DNA and everything you run, is really not going to help you with the crime? It was already there. So these are things that relate to kids when they do TDA, because is everything on that text important to answering the question? No, not necessarily. So it's what's the evidence, and then why does it matter? Now, some of you have already done the next step, so we won't take as long with this, but we would ask kids, you have your evidence, you have it categorized, what do you think happened? Now, I heard a conversation right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do what we call a fishbowl, where I want you to kind of listen in, and you guys are going to do your best. You can fake it, you can act it out, to repeat your conversation about what you thought happened here.
So all of the stuff is spread out, but there's valuable stuff. There's a purse, there's jewelry, there's a cell phone, there's a wallet. So obviously this was not a robbery.
I think somebody was beat up. There's an assault.
And why do you think that?
Because they didn't take any of the valuable stuff, and it's all spread out all over everywhere, and somebody walked away.
All right, so here's some things as a teacher for formative assessment that I'm hearing. One, these students here are not only able to tell me the evidence, but they're drawing connections between the evidence and you're inferring. Maybe you have some background knowledge, you saw a movie, you saw something else. Detectives actually do the same thing. They make connections and they start to infer based on other crime scenes they've been to, patterns of behavior. So on the rubric for the TDA, there's a 1, 2, 3, or 4. To go from a 3 to a 4, which is the hardest one to get, it's about making your own conclusions and putting that in there. The evidence is what's on the text. The analysis is what just came from your head. So your analysis was good because you used the evidence to support it. Does it mean that you're right?
No.
Not
Of my
necessarily.
evidence.
That's right. So her analysis, if it goes with the evidence and it's logical, that's that 4 that we're looking for. And that's really what's going to take kids over the next hump. So it's more than just identifying the evidence. It's now about adding your own analysis, your thinking into it. Is there anything you'd like to look at more closely?
Cell phone.
Okay,
Okay, trash can,
so we have a trash can and a cell phone. You wanna go attack the trash can for us?
I know we got some, contact solution in here, I noticed that. Somebody, had to fix their contacts or something, or they had to take them out. Well, there's the glasses.
There's the glasses.
So maybe they had to put on their contacts because their glasses.
So do you hear all this thinking that she's going on? She's sitting here talking herself in and out. But all that thinking is going on that I can now measure where you are in your analysis.
Okay, let's go. Oh, and they had a water bottle.
Oh, did you hear it? DNA.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day, my love. I love you and thank you for everything. Love always shown.
Oh, wait a minute. What did you say?
Domestic violence.
Only adults roll that.
From the packet, I'm assuming we had some flowers somewhere. Somebody got some fresh flowers.
Jealousy's on
Oh, what'd you say?
Jealousy.
Maybe they got to a fight.
All right. Oh, we have a crime of passion now. Thank you. And that was it for the trash can.
That was
Somebody
everything.
else said the pocket.
Oh, you want
And
to
a
get a
cell
Come
phone.
on, Susu. That's what her granddaddy calls her. Come on, Susu.
No, I don't want to be accused.
That's right.
Okay, we have
Oh, wait a second. Why did I go? Oh.
Yes, what's on those sheets?
Okay, so we got some.
where she shops.
That's right.
How could that help?
Because it's connected to her phone and her address and stuff.
How she,
Oh, we can get in the house too.
lipstick, more fingerprints.
Oh, more DNA.
Oh, a receipt.
From, did we go eat?
She went to somewhere on Palmetto Street. I can't read it.
I feel you on that one.
Oh, you touched it with your hands.
Second glance skin.
It was Miss Hyman and she's trying to cover up.
And that's it.
All right. Is there anything else that you would want to look at? And if your
Cell
kids,
phone.
all the cell phone.
Cell phone.
So I'll go ahead.
Let me see.
Oh no,
It's dead?
it's dead.
All right, we need a charger,
What?
people.
What would a
Why
student
do we
say?
need a charger?
So we can plug it in
What would
and get,
students say? It's dead, but,
well, we got a charger for that.
right. And they'd have all kind of ideas, right, about how to, they could make that phone work.
So I might ask this question too. Why do you even care about the phone? It's dead.
I wonder whose phone it is.
Who
All
they
right.
contacted lately.
Phones, contacts. So come on, my CSI people. What else?
Text
Text messaging.
Internet.
Pictures.
Oh, we said location.
The
That's
G-
right.
the built-in GPS now.
Now here's something that you just did. One of the hardest things for kids to do is to generate questions.
That's right.
And you guys are just yelling out all the things that you would like to investigate further just with this phone. Michael at the SLED agency, he says there's a huge cabinet of chargers and power cords, and they just find it until they can match one up. All right? Any other piece?
Surely there's one thing.
The wallet.
Yes.
And so in this wallet, no money,
Uh-oh.
but we do have Dad's phone number,
Aw.
and then I have Booby's phone number.
Uh-oh, not boobies.
I'm hoping that was Bobby just misspelled.
No, I think that was boobies.
And then we have Miss Benton, but no phone number.
Oh.
D, and then Ben.
D and Ben have phone numbers?
Then Darby, no.
No phone numbers.
And then I have Mom.
How mom go that far back?
So how does this wallet help
It's a boy.
us as far as evidence goes? Age?
Yep.
Why do you say age?
Looking at who's in the writing.
And usually they don't have their, their mom and dad's phone
There's no
number
like
handy.
cards or anything, so they don't have that.
I don't see a license.